Howdy, 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 you guys. It's your boy Heffa Tanks. Welcome back. Welcome back. I know you guys know what we're doing today, baby. Another monster tank review. Roswell time. So this is one of the newest tanks that you can get with this newest monster tank gear. It's a Roswell and then there's the Pharaoh's Fury. As of now, I have some gameplay on the Pharaoh's Fury. Don't really recommend it, but like I said, there'll be a whole tank review on that thing in a little bit. But for now, let's focus on the Roswell. And let's get straight into its Awoken Power, because it's got a fun one, you guys. Its second ammunition is a tractor beam, where if you hit somebody with this tractor beam, you suck them up into space with a UFO while doing damage. So that is really cool. That is pretty much it for its Awoken Power. It's just that second ability. But let's get into some of the pros of this tank. The gun handling on this tank is actually really good. It's got good aim time, it's got good accuracy, it's got good shell velocity. The gun and its alpha is also good too. It's got a 400 alpha with an 8.2 second reload. And just to compare that, the Death Chariot, which is a tank that I also reviewed, which I'll link up here on the top right, has a 390 alpha and it has an 11 second reload. So this thing has a faster reload and a higher alpha. Pretty nice. Another pro of this thing is the tractor beam. Oh my gosh, you guys, this tractor beam is so much fun. It does do around like 380 to 460 alpha depending on your rolls, but it does a decent amount of damage to some of these tanks. It's just so much fun to just watch these tanks float up in the air and then fall back to the earth. They don't take any damage on falling, which is cool because it'd be super OP if it did, unless they hit like an awkward building or something. Then they might die. But I've only seen that happen once, and I didn't shoot the person. It was one of my teammates that landed next to me. Another pro about this tank is its mobility is actually pretty good. Now I do have some of the equipments on here that help my mobility, so that definitely helps this tank out a lot. It might struggle a little bit without those equipment slots, but for most of the time you can keep up with most light tanks, except maybe for a Lycan when he's in his awoken state. There, he might be able to circle you, but a Dragon and Spectre, you should be able to keep your gun on them. The turret armor on this thing is also another plus. It has some good turret armor. If you can find a nice hold down position for this tank, then you will bounce. Your two little alien cupolas there are weak spots, but so far, if you get hold down, I really haven't had issues with people pending those cupolas, so. Now, of course, it's not all sunshine and rainbows with this tank. It does have its flaws. Some of the cons of this thing is that it doesn't have a 360 rotating turret. As you can see in the bottom left, it has a very wide turret arc, which is good, but it's not 360. So if somebody gets behind you directly on your butt, you are going to be SOL. So that is not very nice. Another thing that's not very nice on this tank is its hull armor. It is butter. It is a butter hull. You might be able to side scrape with this tank a little bit, but it's sort of difficult and your hull is just not good at all. So you sort of got to rely on your turret. Mobility is also could be a bad thing. It just depends. If you don't have any equipment on this tank, it does feel a little sluggish and you might get out-traversed by multiple light tanks, especially how light tanks like Spectres and Lycans are just completely tearing up the battlefield right now. So that's just something to keep in mind. The tractor beam does have one downside, and that it shoots like an artillery piece, so it lobs. And also, it reacts like HE. So if you hit objects, if you hit a dead tank, if you hit a building, if you hit like any of the tombstones or any of the things around the map that are destructible, it's going to hit it. It's not going to go through it. So if there's a tank hiding behind a fence or something, it's going to take the fence out and it's not going to take out the tank. So just keep that in mind. It's also hard to give lead to this thing because since it acts like an artillery piece, it doesn't know that you're giving lead to a tank that's not there yet, so it thinks that you're trying to fire behind the tank. It's sort of hard to explain, but you'll see it when you start trying to give lead to these things at range. And the last flaw of this tank is going to be its hit points. 1700 hit points is not a lot at all. You can, in a 1v1 situation, you will most likely you will lose every engagement to every other tank in this game, I feel. Everyone has more hit points or better DPM than you. So, it's just something to keep in mind. You want to stick together with your team while playing this tank. You don't want to be caught out by yourself, because the Lycans and the Spectres and all the little light tanks are going to chew you up, baby. And that's going to be it, you guys. The next one should be the Pharaoh one. I can't wait to get that to you guys. But until then, I hope you guys have a fantastic Halloween, and I will see you guys later. Boo!